Well, this is a big play. And, probably get Ben. Don't throw the ball. The clock stops. So that's saving the timeout for the Comets. 2.5 minutes, long time yet.
Garrett Patterson matches up on Kobe Doherty, who's a receiver to the left boundary. They put Travis Mock in motion, and Schmidt takes it, throws it out to Doherty at the 30 to the 35, cuts to the center of the field to the 40, breaks a tackle and has a first down into Penn's Manor territory. And the Wildcats will move the chains, and two Penn's Manor Comets appear injured back in their own territory. Patterson is getting up slowly, trying to drag himself up off the field, and Lou Idzotic blows it dead. But what a big pickup on 3rd and 14.
I don't know what you said. That's a great job by Kobe Doherty. Saw the gap, knew where he needed to be, caught the ball, didn't try to do too much, just ran to some daylight, as they said, and was able to get the first down and more. Just a great play.
23-yard gain.
Wow, a safe pass again in the flat, and that's the whole idea of those things, is you get your runner out in the open field and let him do his thing. And Kobe that time, that was just great execution there.
You're probably going to see ground and pound now and try to make Penn's Manor use their timeouts. Power I formation behind Ben Schmidt, and he gets to the deep back Williams. Williams makes a quick move. That was a jump cut, and he jump cuts it for 10 yards to the 36-yard line, very close to another first down.
That's perfect. That's perfect, because you got to run another play or two to get a first down, and you're using your clock, and you get another first down in the process.
Now the young sophomore quarterback wants to watch that back judge, and his hand goes up. You have 5 seconds to run the play. We're down to 92 seconds left in this football game. 30-28 Homer Center. It's been crazy. 2nd down and a yard. Schmidt hands to Williams. Williams protects the ball, has a first down inside the 35, very close to the 34-yard line, and Penn's Manor is going to take a timeout. With 1:20 remaining in the football game, Indiana Regional Medical Center High School Sports Night coverage continues. Been a lot of great games between these two teams. This one, not a thing of beauty, not artistic as far as being perfection with mistakes both ways, but it's certainly been entertaining. Wildcats 30, Comets 28. Coming back to finish it on the WCCS Wildcat Football Network.
The way it works.
1st and 10 Homer Center from the Comet 34. Logan Williams has 5 yards to the 29-yard line as a Comet comes in a little bit late, but no flag, no harm, no foul, according to the officials. And the Comets are going to take another timeout, and I think that may be their final timeout. Let's see what Lou Idzotic says. No, evidently not. That's their second. 1:12 left in the football game. We'll break for 30. We'll give you Kobe Doherty's stats when we return to with the Wildcats leading 30-28 on the WCCS Wildcat Football Network. We are finishing this football game here. We thank Ross Legal for their sponsorship.
You know, this kind of formation, Logan could pop it easily here if he breaks through there.
2nd down and 5. They feed him the ball again, and Penns Manor tackles him after about a 2-yard gain. They try stripping it. And is Penns Manor out of timeouts now? I thought I saw Lou Exotic say 2 timeouts remaining. They're out of timeouts? Okay, Denny Mester, our spotter in the booth, says out of timeouts. So clock continues to roll down to 45 seconds left in the game. 3rd down and 3. And quite frankly, one play here should do it.
Should do it if as long as Homer can hold on to the ball. You know, hats off to Penns Manor.
Well, both coaches
battle,
up here, both coaches will be visiting up here on the press box following the game for our post-game interviews. 3rd down and 3. That's insignificant. Ben Schmidt going to take a knee, and that's going to do it. That's going to wrap up this extremely hard-fought football game that had plenty of big plays, some of them off of mistakes. And the Wildcats do prevail. They kind of made it hard on themselves, didn't they?
Do you think? I mean, 2 turnovers returned for touchdowns. That makes it pretty tough, especially when you're looking to take control of the football game. But you got to give them credit. They were resilient. They kept coming back. They kept battling back. Their defense has been weak, and it rose to the occasion when it had to. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do. There isn't any doubt about that. As we see Mr. Graham here sticking his head in there.
All right, we'll see him at the post-game tailgate, Ian Graham.
And it's a win, and it's a win that Homer really needed, Mark, I think, to get them in the right direction here on this season. So we'll see what it does as a springboard.
Homer Center's 2-1. The Comets dropped back-to-back games after losing to Ligonier last week. So they're 1-2. Wildcats 2-game winning streak. So they're on the right side of 500. Our final score here tonight, Homer Center 30 and the Penns Manor Comets 28. Stay with us for our first Commonwealth Bank post-game show, which will feature interviews from both head coaches up here in the press box. Coming back with more with the first Commonwealth Bank post-game show. Again, the final. We hope you enjoyed it. Homer Center 30 and the Penns Manor Comets 28. Right here on the WCCS Wildcat Football Network. and they ended up turning it over on downs. But the Wildcats on their next possession did get the motor going from Logan Williams. Penns Manor was faced with looked like it was going to be a 3-and-out, but they ran a fake punt in their own territory, and Alex Pribish made a big defensive play tackling the punter Dimitri Lieb. Wildcats started at the Comets 36. Didn't take them long to pull within 2. .824 mark. Ben Schmidt added the 2-point conversion. We were knotted at 8. Wildcats D, 3-and-out, forced a 21-yard punt. Cats started at their own 40-yard line, 20-yard pass to Kobe Doherty to Penns Manor's 40, and then faced with a 3rd and 8 from the Comets' 36. Kobe Doherty got right back into the act. Four-play, 60-yard drive. Schmidt added the extra point. It was 15-8. Looked like the Wildcats were going to take a 2-touchdown lead into the locker room at the half. After the Wildcats had recovered a fumble, Alex Pribish recovering that. The Cats started at Penns Manor's 32. They had a 2nd and goal from the Penns Manor 9 when this football game was at least temporarily turned upside down. Yep, he scooped up that fumble and off he went. Hamilton was stopped on the 2-point conversion, so the Wildcats had a 1-point lead at the half. Homer Center then watched Penns Manor on their opening possession. Tommy Hamilton with another big play for Penns Manor, this one on the offensive side. Four plays, 73 yards, took a $151. Dimitri Lieb was stopped on the 2-point conversion, so the Wildcats trailed by 5. Back came the Wildcats, however. 23-yard kickoff return from Logan Williams, and then Homer Center at the Penns Manor Homer Center 47-yard line. Quarterback Ben Schmidt used his legs on a big play. After a 2-point or after a penalty 2-point conversion run, Logan Williams made it 23-20. So that's where we were in the third quarter. Homer Center had the ball, and another mistake. Actually, 2nd down and 10 Homer Center was faced with, and Penns Manor made another big play on the defensive side. 28-23 after the two-point conversion pass to Tommy Hamilton with 1:24 left in the third. Comets back up on top. They attempted an onside kick. Brock Hauser recovered it. Wildcats looked like they were going to answer right back. They were down inside the 1-yard line, but Ben Schmidt looked like he was across, but he fumbled the football. Penns Manor poked it loose, recovered it at the half-yard line. After looked like Penns Manor was going to be stopped, a personal foul on Homer Center on third down gave them new life at the 17, but a big stand by the defense forced a 42-yard punt, and the Wildcats started a game-winning touchdown drive at their own 34-yard line. Ben Schmidt ran 16 yards to Penns Manor's 44. They worked it down to the 33-yard line of the Comets, and Ben Schmidt went back up top to his favorite target. Schmidt added the extra point, Ben Schmidt that is, and it was 30-28 Homer Center, and they were able to hang on and defeat the Penns Manor Comets in some kind of wild football game at Memorial Field. 30-28 Homer Center over Penns Manor. When our first Commonwealth Bank postgame show continues, you'll hear from Penns Manor Comets head coach Billy Packer, who was gracious enough to make the climb up to the Memorial Field press box after a hard-fought loss for his team. These two teams really battled tonight. Back and forth we went. And we will have head coach Bill Packer with Ward Hilliard when we continue on the other side of the break. 30-28 Homer Center on the WCCS Wildcat Football Network.
This isn't Mark Reddick. This is Ward Hilliard, and I'm fortunate enough to have my buddy, head coach Billy Packer, who's not feeling real good tonight, but I think you ought to. I said at the beginning of the ball game, you guys prepare as well as any team, and I thought you did an excellent job in prepping for Logan Williams and trying to keep him contained.
Yeah, we knew what an athlete he is. We watched him both games, and boy, against Purchase Line, he ran all over the field. He gets loose. He's gone. There's not too many people who are going to catch him. And unfortunately, there's some holes in our defensive backs missed him. And you miss him, he's gone.
I didn't know if they were tired, Bill, because this was a very tough ball game, back and forth quite a bit. But I really felt you guys controlled the inside line play, and I would have expected Homer to do just the opposite. So that's a credit to what you guys did defensively.
Yeah, I was pleased with our defensive line. I thought we did a nice job inside. They had a hard time running up inside, but they got us on the edge. We practiced that quarterback counter I don't know how many times, and they still got us on it. But they prepare. You're talking about prepare well. Greg always prepares well, and we know it going in.
Well, I thought you made some great defensive stands, but Tommy Hamilton, to me, I said at the pregame that he has always been a factor. I know he's only been around a couple of years. He didn't play a lot last year, but anytime he's on the field against Homer Center, he just shows up.
He does. He's a good athlete for us. I think towards the end we just wore him out a bit, and he got tired a little bit, and you can't go 100% sometimes, and unfortunately you can't just throw somebody else in there that can play the ball like he can play. So, I'm really happy with the way he plays. He gives you 100%, and that's all you can ask. You
guys, I want to ask you about this. We did talk off camera about it, but the fake punt really wasn't supposed to be a fake punt. Now, nobody up here knew that. We thought, oh, man, he's going to be a riverboat gambler again. That's Billy.
No.
That wasn't Billy, that wasn't.
No way. We were expecting him to punt the ball there. I mean, we practiced the rugby punt, and he was coming out. I figured, okay, you're punting it. And I couldn't believe he tucked it away and put it down and didn't get it. And, that was a big momentum change and gave him short field.
You ever seen a game that you've been involved with so many swings and momentum? This is typical Homer Penn's Manor game when you're evenly balanced the way you are. I just cannot remember one that was just swinging back and forth like this thing did.
I don't remember one like this. It was back and forth, and we felt if we had the ball last, that would be a good thing. But fortunately, we didn't finish our drive off down here at the end, and give Homer a lot of credit. They stopped us and ran the clock out. Got a few first downs, a couple big first downs. And especially on that pass play, I think it was 3rd and 14 or something, give the kid credit. He broke a lot of tackles, and he got that first down.
Well, I know you guys are not feeling real good after the loss, but I was very impressed with the way you performed. Typical Penn's Manor team, no quit in them. A lot of season left. I'm sure we're going to be talking to you down the road a little bit later in the season.
I hope so, Ward. I hope so. We got to pick it up and put it behind us now. And we have a tough United team coming in next week. Another team that's going to be big up front, and hopefully we can do a good job.
Well, good luck to you, Bill. Thanks for the time here, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, Ward. Thank you.
That's Billy Packer.
All right, we'll strap the headset on and shake Coach's hand, too. Thanks for doing this, Coach. And coming up to the booth, we're going to get Greg Page coming back on the other side of the break. Don't forget Coach's Corner tomorrow in its 50th season on WDAD AM 1450, 100.3 FM. And Todd Marino will have it from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning on WDAD. 50 years of Coach's Corner. We haven't really talked about it. Only 3 hosts. Jack Benedict brought the concept with them to Indiana County in 1969. Chuck Clark did it for a few years, and now Todd Marino, and those three guys are still doing play-by-play every Friday night for Renda Broadcasting. Coming back with more on our First Commonwealth Bank post-game show. Time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank. Well, Billy Packer was first. The winning coach is second. Head coach Greg Page. On the other side of the break, a wild and woolly one at Memorial Field. Homer Center wins it 30-28 in the 61st all-time meeting between these two longtime rivals. Coming back with more on the WCCS Wildcat Football Network. All right, Michael, thank you very much. We welcome you back into the booth at Memorial Field with head coach Greg Page after this extremely hard-fought 30-28 victory over the Penns Manor Comets. And, Coach, you didn't make it easy on yourselves, did you?
No, we sure didn't. Again, I told the Gazette, credit to Penns Manor. You know, we were bigger than them up front, and they fought and scrapped, and they have good skill guys, and we found a way at the end to win the game. I mean, it was mistake-filled, back and forth with a lot of crazy plays, but we prevailed, and I give our kids credit for that.
I think you overcame 4 turnovers tonight. It was a crazy game, back and forth. Things started for you in special teams in the wrong way with a 48-yard punt return by Matt Samoji, who, credit him, made a nice play, but eluded a couple of tacklers, maybe plays that could have been made that weren't, but they're up as a result 8-0.
Yeah, and you know, with their return game, they like to wall towards their, or at least go towards their sideline, and they did. And I thought we had guys that should have stepped up, and that's part of the times, you know, when things are on the downswing that we're questioning their toughness, because you just got to come up, you got to fight off blocks and make tackles. And we just had guys that looked like they were, you know, weaving around and maybe trying to make a tackle, an angle tackle down at the 5, and you can't do that against good athletes.
You come back, you drive, you have a second and goal at the 5-yard line, and then a hold and an intentional grounding. Next thing you know, it's 4th and goal at the 29, so that one kind of bogged down, and I know you weren't happy.
No, we can't have penalties. I mean, we get down there. This team has to learn how to finish drives, and I now remember what you said. The 4th turnover was the goal line quarterback sneak. But yeah, we can't make penalties. We can't hold. We can't jump illegal procedure. We just got to, come up. We're trying to run simple plays in those situations, get off the football and get forward.
Logan Williams, who went over 100 yards again tonight, got your momentum back on your side on your next drive on a 36-yard run, and it was tough sledding. They made things difficult for Logan and your offense, didn't they?
They do. A lot of times they'll bring that 6-man front, and you don't know which side somebody like Hamilton's coming from. A lot of times it's wide side or right side, and he'll pressure the passer if you don't get a blocker out in front of him. He'll crash hard if you're trying to run off tackle. I thought Baird did some good things on the other side, 88. But in that particular case, we were able to get a kick out and get him up through the seam. And then, you see if you get him in the open field, I'll take our chances.
Yeah, no kidding. And then you take the lead on a nice drive, 4 plays, 60 yards. Kobe another reception, 3rd and 8. Schmidt hits Doherty for a 36-yard touchdown pass. And it was kind of a hot and cold night. A lot of good things for your sophomore quarterback, but a few plays you'd probably both like to have back, right?
Yeah, and, we got on him about it. He had the one where it's 15-8 us, and we're going in before the end of the half, and it was an ill-advised attempt to try to throw the ball when he's getting sacked, and he's still young. I mean, I'll take the trade-off because he comes back and makes some great plays, and he alerted a play in one of our later drives where we were lined up wrong, and we would have been running our big 200-some-pound fullback on a stretch play, and that's not going to work. So he alerted that out of that and made a nice pass call, and we were able to get some positive yardage there. He does more good things than some of the mistakes.
Yeah, so after the mistake to close the half, he starts the second half with a 53-yard touchdown run. Like Logan, he was over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, I mean, his legs are good too. We have some things, and there's some things tonight we didn't show either with him in the ground game. But if we can get him up the field, he's got deception speed. He doesn't look like he's running real fast, but he's so athletic, and he does have good speed.
Penns Manor takes the lead again, 28-23 on an interception return. We kind of covered that mistake. That was one of the downsides to Ben Schmidt's night, but then they try to catch in an onside kick, something I saw you work on the other night, and Brock Hauser recovered it, and that was kind of a big play that maybe doesn't make the box score, but huge.
And it's coming from a kid who really works hard and is getting better. He's a sophomore. He's a good kid, so he works hard. So we put him on a couple of those special teams, and the ball was bouncing funny, and he made a good play. So credit to Brock.
That fumble that you alluded to inside the 1-yard line, Nick Schmidt, our sideline reporter, thought maybe he had reached it across for a touchdown, but the next thing you know, Penns Manor comes up out of the scrum at the half-yard line. With football, what did you see? What kind of explanation did you get?
I had a bad angle, but all I got was that the umpire made the call that it was a fumble. So I don't know how he can see that the ball crosses or doesn't cross the plane of the goal line. I tried to talk to one of the linesmen on our side, and he said the umpire made the call. And I thought, well, I'm going to argue that he broke the plane, but I'm not down there. I mean, I'm at the 25, so my angle's skewed. You fight from there, and then we got a penalty on third down on a. I just thought it was two guys making a really good, physical
play.
tackle. Yeah, but fortunately we held them there and we got the ball back.
Yeah, and you went on a game-winning drive because clock was becoming an issue, wasn't it? And the guys came through. Ben Schmidt's 16-yard run again, and then a 33-yard pass was really a thing of beauty. At first, you're thinking, is Kobe going to be able to run under it? And run under it he did, and hauls it in. And that was a thing of really a picture of beauty from up here in the booth.
Your thought was my thought, too. I was hoping he'd get there. And, earlier in the season in the scrimmage a couple times, he wasn't getting there, whether it was overthrown or it was him. But, that's what work does, when you work on that stuff in your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday situation. So,
young man that's still learning the game. I wanted to point this out because Penns Manor comes back. Defense stops them on fourth down. Looked like maybe they were trying to run a bubble screen. And I thought the guy that really busted it up, Jake Ciani, and, didn't make a tackle, I don't think, but kind of disrupted it.
Well, you're talking about the one that was floated up towards their side. I thought, well, there's no way their guy's going to catch it. Well, he does. I think it was Hamilton. And then the next thing I know, I'm watching him and watching the sticks, and I'm thinking it would be just our night if he wormed his way out of there and got a first down. But we had some guys converge. So, yeah, Jake's been doing a nice job. When he comes and brings pressure, he's a quick kid too. So, that hurries a kid like that up. And I thought Leitner made a quick decision to get rid of the ball because it's fourth down, but fortunately it was kind of a broken play.
7 receptions tonight for Kobe Doherty for, let's see here, 157 yards, I think, 2 touchdowns. Williams, 142 rushing yards. Ben Schmidt, 117. Boy, that's some big nights by your skill folks.
It is. It is. I mean, again, we're going against some athletes. They're not big on their defensive side, but again, they'll bring pressure fronts and they'll bring guys from different spots, and you just got to try to find holes. It was hard calling plays. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, some of that stuff worked, but they make it real difficult for you.
Coach, it's in the win column. It's on the road to Marion Center next Friday night. You're on the right side of 500 after a season opening loss, and despite some of the trials and tribulations, you have to feel pretty good about it.
I do. I was glad to see the clock tick off and we win the game. And going to Marion Center is going to be tough. I saw they won tonight over PL, so they're going to be sky high. And we're going over to their place, and it's a tough place to play. So we're just going to have another good week. We have to.
Coach's post-game interview brought to you by Alexander Roll-Off Services. We'll let you roll on out of here after a hard-fought 30-28 victory.
Thanks, guys.
Head coach Greg Page on our First Commonwealth Bank post-game show. And we'll give you the stats in this game before we say goodnight for Homer Center in the rushing department. 22 carries, 142 yards for Logan Williams. Ben Schmidt, as I mentioned, 11 carries, 117 yards. Chipped in 8 yards for Trevor Malacker. It all totaled up to 36 rushes for 267 yards for Homer Center. Passing, Ben Schmidt, 9 of 13 for 164 yards and a couple of touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So 45 offensive plays for 431 yards for Homer Center. For Penns Manor, 45 rushes, 253 yards. They were led by Tommy Hamilton. Ward Hilliard talked about him. 14 carries, 106. Dimitri Lieb, the sophomore, 13 carries for 84 yards. 51 yards on 15 carries for Matt Samoji, who added that punt return for a touchdown. 45 rushes, 253. Through the air, only 2 of 6 for 7 yards and an interception. And that, I think, was the difference in the game, Homer Center's ability to pass the football. So total yards of 260 for Penns Manor. On our out-of-town scoreboard, Marion Center defeats Purchase Line 20-8. So the Stingers are off the snide. They're 1-2, dropping the Red Dragons to 0-3. Blairsville wins their first over their rival Salzburg 38-26. Northern Cambria is now 3-0. They go out to West Shamokin and win 36-14. Ligonier Valley, they continue to roll up at Thomas Medill Athletic Field in Armagh. They down United 47-7. And Indiana, good for them. They shut out Ringgold 48-0, minus their head coach Brandon Overdorf, who tore his ACL in the season opener, but he had surgery. I don't think he was able to make the trip, but his team gets them a win. That'll speed his recovery as the Little Indians improve to 1-2. And right here at Memorial Field, in front of a big crowd on the 61st all-time meeting, the Wildcats edge Penns Manor 30-28. As for our Walbeck Insurance player of the game, we're going to go with receiver Kobe Doherty, who hauled in a couple of passes. 7 receptions for 161 yards, says our statistician Jerry Rossai. A couple of touchdowns. Kobe also had a good game defensively and helping to lead the Wildcats to a hard-fought victory where they had to overcome 4 turnovers. So we'll be on the road at Marion Center next Friday night. Airtime will be 6:20 from Dr. John Molino's Stadium. Kickoff at 7. For our statistician, Jerry Rossai. Jerry, wave to everybody out there in Radio Land. Good night. They're not seeing you on the video camera, though, Jerry. Our spotter in the booth, Dennis Mester. And our executive producer of Wildcat Sports back at the studios, Michael Burdick, speaking for Ward Hilliard. Mark Burdick reminding you that the Wildcats win it over Penns Manor, dropping Penns Manor to 1-2. Homer Center now 2-1. The final score from the corner of Lincoln and Harrison Streets in the borough of Homer City at Memorial Field. Homer Center 30 and the Penns Manor Comets 28. Until we talk to you next Friday night, so long, everybody.